points on the lesson. Live in the hills, but it still get a spread. Started with a live, but it still reinvest it. Fear how I feel, then you feel like a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but the sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a wonderful day. I got another watch list for you, and the market is literally surging. CPI came in today, and it was below estimates on every single metric. So literally, the last two CPIs out of all of the economists, every single one of them got it wrong as far as how high it was going to go. This time around, even though it dropped so much that only 10% of economists expected this to happen. Literally, core CPI not moving. Only one economist in the world expected that to happen. So today was wild. We have a bunch of things to talk about. Again, literally, bro, like people are literally saying we might enter into a bull market. Like here's this picture. Legitimately, we have already recovered about half of the losses since June. But I think that 436 right there would put us technically back into a bull market. I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. So we got a lot to talk about. I'm going to go over everything that happened today. We have a bunch of pretty pictures and quotes to understand it. We have a bunch of plays. We were able to react very, very quickly, and we're going to talk about that here today, and then just everything to expect and where we're going from here and a couple more plays. So drop your thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're subscribed, and if you don't know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open, youtube.com/the stock market, free 99, and we will see you there. God bless you if we saw you today. That was a lot of fun. But as far as the keys, I have to start with this amazing quote, and this is what I think a lot of people got to understand now. So we were talking about this inflation stuff, and even though I was bearish, I was saying I expect headline to come down, but I thought core was going to be a little bit more stickier. Well, like we said yesterday, if anything happens positive, this is going to open up the floodgates. So literally, one big part you have to realize is that the narrative that Powell is going to pivot, it didn't die. It should have died today. That's what a high inflation number would have done, but it didn't. And that is what gave us a lot of the justification for the rally that we saw recently. But now, here is your first key, and this is what you got to understand. 1 month does not make a trend, but every trend starts with 1 month. So the way I was explaining it, again, 8.5, in the beginning of the year, we were freaking out about that number. Funny today, we're like, yeah, woohoo. But the thing about it, or at least how I try to explain it, was that this was the best, worst data that we have gotten in 10 months. Literally, this is the first big drop in CPI in 10 months. This was the most optimistic inflation report in 10 months. So that goes even beyond the beginning of this year, which is wild to think about. So keep all of that in mind. But like we're saying now, this is going to open up a window over the next couple of days and couple of weeks, and that's what we want to play. But the real downside's not over yet. But the crazy part is, people are talking very, very bullish, and we've already recovered a lot. So keep that in mind. And now to get into some of the CPI data, let's just go over a quick rundown. These pretty pictures should help. But now here is the new chart. And as you can see, energy usage declined. And that's one thing I'll add. There is a model that came out this morning. Pretty much if gas prices stay exactly the same price as today, and that continues into next month, we will actually be able to forecast another 1% drop in the CPI, which is pretty wild. But as this chart is showing you, the headline came down, the core, it's still elevated, but as you see, it peaked now about 2 or 3 months ago. And like we talked about with services there at the bottom, you notice it barely moved. So that was positive. Legitimately, like every single factor that could have been negative somehow managed to skate in there and be positive. Again, the services declined, the core didn't go up, and then headline dropped. Again, a lot of people expected headline to drop, but those other variables, that was a little shaky. So to watch that come in, that is what contributed to some of the bullishness now. And now take a look at the weighting. We're going to start with what declined because literally everybody knew about this. This is showing you the breakdown of the products and their weighting on the left. So you'll notice 5% in gasoline, 5% energy consumption, 5% weighting of motor fuel. These are big categories, but these are all on the leaderboards. Again, the biggest drop or the contributing points on the CPI, it was fuel, which dropped 11% from last month. And then you go down to car and truck rentals, fuel costs, everything else, and you'll see all of the heavily weighted energy indexes. Those are the things that dropped. And now this month around, your most inflated item was eggs and photographic equipment, and then the window coverings. Are they coming back again? I don't know why. In coffee, that went up too, in a couple of food commodities, but not as crazy. And as you see, their weightings on the whole CPI is just very, very minuscule. So there was that. Here's another pretty picture in positive, and this is showing you in solid that is real estate or cost of shelter, rent costs. That has surged up, and it slowed down a little this month, but what had people positive is that it is not fell below average weekly earnings. So yeah, I know there's the real and all that, but a lot of people took this one as positive, or at the very least, what I will tell you, keep this in mind for the future CPIs. Once you watch that average weekly earnings start to go down while shelter and other stuff goes up, that will be negative. But like I'm saying, what could have went wrong today, it just did not go wrong. So here's another one, and this is showing you now rent of shelter versus core services excluding rent and shelter. And this was another one. The services chilled out when they could have been going up with core and shelter. If both of those were going up, that would have been a scary thought, because now people are saying, yeah, well, energy came down, but everything else is hitting new peaks. And now this is the final one. Here is the month over month diffusion index. And I brought this up last month. And as you see, this is every category above 4% annualized inflation. And literally last time, it was about 78% of the categories were all above 4%. So after today, that number dropped to 72. Clearly, it's still high, and that's not good. That means broad-based inflation. Again, if you have over 70% of categories up over 4% year over year, that's broad-based inflation. So it's still not good, but like I'm saying, what could have went wrong just didn't happen, and now we saw that chill out. So hopefully that helps. Again, it was just very simple. Inflation cooled down. It is still extremely high. And now even the Fed speakers, they came in today and they talked about it. And they, like, even Kashkari said, even if there was a recession, we are still going to keep hiking. Market ignored all of it. And really digesting today, there was just a lot of social reaction, and now people feeling good about it. At the very least, this is your first positive print that keeps any bullish narrative alive. So that's your first key. Coming into key number 2 now. Here's the quote. Nobody saw it coming, and now everybody wants in. Literally, Bloomberg is saying this could be a rally that turns into a melt-up. I don't know how to describe this to you, but what I'm trying to tell you, there may be a big narrative shift today after this report. So if we don't get a turnaround on Friday or Monday after some of the data, like, no exaggeration, we can literally enter a bull market again. If we get back up to 430, 440, you will enter bear market territory. So what I'm trying to tell you, watch out for this narrative shift here, and we got to keep an eye on it. But this is that window I was talking about. I don't know how extreme it will be, but literally from the meme stocks to now Bloomberg even talking like this, I'm telling you, there could be a narrative shift, and maybe it's a small window leading into the next data set next month, but it could have a lot of power packed behind it. So that's what we got to watch out for. But we talked about it on the long term. Be very careful of FOMO right now, because that's all this is. When it's all said and done, I really encourage you, don't get too caught up into it. Again, don't be so timid where you don't get anything, but at the end of the day, don't, just really compare your actions you want to make right now to what you would have done about 30 to 60 days ago, and try to find a happy middle ground. You know what I'm trying to say? But that's the big key here. Watch for that narrative shift. That's number 2. And then finally, number 3, this is what you have to be watching for moving forward. Watch for the PPI tomorrow. I'm going to say that's like a second tier data set, so it could have an effect, but chances are it'll probably be more bullish than not. Remember, PPI, that actually dropped last time, but we had a little bit of volatility, so keep that in mind. And then Fed Dolly, she's tomorrow, but I'm just telling you, this hawkish Fed is not hitting. What we heard from Neil Kashkari and Charlie Evans, they both were very hawkish today, and the market ignored it, and Fed futures barely went up. Again, Fed futures probability of 75 basis point, it got pummeled today. I lost only $200 on the short, which wasn't too bad, but this is that big key, and and this is what we want to see move. So if any data or Fed speakers watch this, but it was very, very stubborn today. The market is ignoring the Fed, so keep that in mind. But now finally, the consumer sentiment on Friday is a powder keg. And what I mean by that is depending on what it does, it could lead to an explosion, very big up or down. And why? Because Friday's consumer sentiment, it has inflation expectations. So last time when that came in lower, we rallied. It actually was part of that July rally that we had. So if that comes in again, with more expectations dropping after this CPI report, that could actually fuel this rally and give us a lot more steam above 420. But then on the reverse, if that somehow comes in extremely negative, that might be able to reverse a lot of this or now get us in a weird volatility mode and get us more range bound rather than rally mode. So that's really what we're going to be watching for coming into Friday and then watching on the Monday open. So watch out for all of that. Today was historic, man. A lot of crazy things are happening. It really gets us excited because now we got data to go off of. We could be a lot more confident, but now all eyes need to be focused on the next catalyst, and don't get tricked, trapped, fooled, or frustrated just yet. We still got a long way to go, so I hope you're ready, but let us get into the plays. So right off the bat, I got a couple of plays. I got 3, and actually I made a play on each and every single one of these. We were able to kill it, and I'm starting with number 1, what we put on the watch list for the last couple of days. JP Morgan, Nvidia, Bank of America, all of the bank and chip stocks, I am looking for a 2-day move. So if you notice, bank stocks got off to a really crazy lead. We said if anything is bullish, watch banks and watch chips. That's what we got. I decided to make a play. I did 2 of them, and I didn't go with JP Morgan. I actually went with Bank of America, and I grabbed the $36 calls for 14 cents. I grabbed 3 of them. They went up to like 24, 25 cents, just under 100%. Still rocking with those. And then for Nvidia, I grabbed the September to make sure I have earnings. Remember, we've been talking about this, and this one was wild because the bank plays in the mornings were up, but when I got that Nvidia, even though Nvidia gapped up 2.5%, I bought this at the same price as yesterday after witnessing all of that bullishness. So I loved it. I grabbed this September 220 calls. I grabbed only one of them for 50 cents, and they went up just under 100% as well too. They were a little bit higher throughout the day, but essentially I'm still going to be watching these. And like I'm saying now, if we have a window for a couple of weeks or the whole month, I will expect these 2 industries and some of these names to dominate because they haven't been for the last couple of months. And there's a really, really good reason to go after them, consumer related, growth related. So I'm really liking it. Gonna be watching those. We're holding those for a reason. That is play number 1. Then play number 2, baby. Disney and Netflix. So I made a play on Netflix today. I decided to go with the next week 270 call. I only grabbed one of them for about 50 cents. That one again, almost 100% there. It was at one point throughout the day. But my logic was Netflix was killing it. We had that CPI. I wanted to go risk on tech stocks. We know they could also do good as well. And then Disney reported today after hours. So I said, hey, that could be a sympathy. I went with that play. But now Disney, they had a killer earnings. I was like, I'm very surprised, honestly. So there was a lot of good earnings out of there. I think that's going to be a big driver. It has a lot of implications now for Netflix, but today was part Netflix and Disney riding the wave, but now with good earnings, I really like that combo and I want to see. So watch out for them coming into the end of the week. I think that one will be a good one. And then finally, number 3, this one is bittersweet, man. I don't know how to explain this, but Roblox, and honestly, I am in shock that this thing went up and was able to close green. So I did make a play on it. I went with a debit spread. We did this after literally, there was like 6 price target increases after Roblox had a really, really bad earnings. The only positive thing of Roblox is that they said their July numbers are looking good, but from Stifle to even JP Morgan after hours, they gave a $55 price target. Morgan Stanley raised the price target. It's absolutely insane. Honestly, I just have to get you the list because I'm saying we've had a lot of baffling earnings moves, but like pay attention and I'll explain some of the play details, but literally in the Morgan Stanley price target upgrade to 32, BTIG $58 price target, Stifle 50, Jeffries 43, Needham 55, and then JP Morgan Morgan gave them a 53. That's literally 6 price targets after a awful earnings, missing already lowered guidance. So again, I'm saying I'm in shock. I thought it was going to go down like Coinbase. Even Coinbase ended up, I guess that's just the nature of the market. But now I'm like, yo, is there a squeeze potential in this play? I don't know, but I like the fact that this type of move up and down, these options can get really, really cheap. So if it continues, I think it's going to trigger a lot of people, and I think a lot of people are either going to have to cover on this or they're going to try to re-short. Again, I wanted to short it even though I own it. So just like think about that for a second. So I went with the debit spread today. We grabbed the $52 call for August 19th and then a 55 I sold 37 cents. Those even went up almost 100% as well too, or just under. But what I'm going to be looking for is a lot of big moves. Again, after that 15% decline, that killed the premium. So then when it shot up, premiums went up, but they were still cheaper. And then it drops down again, they get cheap. So what I'm saying, premiums on this are sensitive, and depending on how it plays out, the broader market, how these analysts on crack are feeling, I don't know, but there's going to be volatility, and that could be a lot of opportunities. So I'm definitely going to be watching out for them. But those are the main plays. As far as everything else, I think those are literally the only things I played. Again, we went after what we watched on the watch list, went for banks, went for chip stocks. Again, Netflix, Disney, little bit of post earnings. Really, I'm just going to be following all of this move home. We have our work cut out for us. The one thing you should watch now is energy, because it did get a boost along with materials and commodities. But now we want to see how the market takes it, see if any of the data gets in the way. But we should have all of our plays cut out for the next couple of weeks, unless we get acted upon by an equal or opposite force. So that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure hydrate, healthy, ready to go. Make sure post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. I need you to remember, baby, don't give up 80% going for the 20%. Strengthen what you got. I've been telling you, Chad, when it happens, you're not going to realize it, but you've been trading for this. You stayed in the game. We could almost enter in a bull market, and now look at you. Look at how everything changes so fast. This is why you stay in. This is why you go for the long term, but nothing is set in stone, and I need you to be nimble and prepare. We got a lot more, baby. So I hope you're ready, Chad. I love you. Have a good night's sleep, and God bless the code. What was I going to... Oh, yeah. You want to see the stand here. I don't know how it looks. So look at this. Y'all thought I was playing with you. Your literal camera stand is the bot. I never wore it, man. We just had this talk about it. That's the only reason why I be showing this. But look, my small hands, I can't open it with one hand while I hold the camera. Okay, hold on. Oh, damn, I didn't even realize I had that. I thought I lost these goals. So that's where, okay, I kept that. And now I got to put a new hiding spot. Now I just got to go in the safe. Now y'all gonna try to rob me or something. I love you. It's all fake. Don't worry. Everything's is fake. It's fake. It's okay. Okay. I love you, Chad. God bless you. And what else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, you're blessed, baby. Our back was against the ropes, but we kept up. But I love you. I'll see you in the morning. I might even wake up even earlier tomorrow. We'll see what happens, Chad. But I love you. God bless you. Shout out to Chad Adonia and shout out to Cole, baby. Goodbye.